This is Wednesday in the week heading towards Christmas. Tomorrow's Thursday, Christmas Eve, meaning the markets are going to close at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Generally, volume is really light on Christmas Eve. Could be a little bit different this year because we do have Trump as the president. Trump definitely has caused more swings within the market than normal, and he's just vetoed the stimulus. So there's more things happening than a normal holiday season, and that might mean there's more opportunities than normal tomorrow. I'm still undecided whether I'm going to trade tomorrow or not. I may get up in the morning, kind of see how things look, and decide from there. Um, but I have done well overall, all things considered. We can see today that we hit 720 bucks on the green side. Our equity back to the debt 8,500, about as high as it's been. So, like I said, resulted in a good day. But some of the tickers that we looked at today were SBE, sorry. So this one started surging up. I didn't really catch any a wind of news on this, but it did start breaking out of its pattern here. We can see a lot of basing sideways, a lot of consolidation. The daily chart on this has been strong, but not a big mover normally. But out of nowhere, it started to push higher. And so I took this volume top here. So we can see high day volume, right? So I'll pull this out a bit. So we can see high day volume here. So volume top, meaning that this is probably going to be the top price of the day or top price for the time being, and it's going to pull back. Usually when we do a volume top, equilibrium is the price point that we look for, which would be the VWAP. It did end up getting the VWAP just at the end of the day. I don't generally hold the trades that long because I'm not so much of a trend trader. I'm a breakout trader or a breakdown trader. So I took the volume top here with an entry at 48, and then you can see that it dropped down nicely. I didn't catch the entirety of the move, but it did pay off for me. And I was able to get some smaller winners on. Well, I guess actually on SBE was one of my bigger winners on the day. So that was a good trade. I always feel comfortable shorting, especially through volume tops. Generally, they resolve really well. So that was a nice trade. One of the trades I missed, which I was really frustrated with because I seemed to be the only person that was watching this stock. I had an alert set for yesterday's high. And so over 27, I was watching. So breakout over 27, I figured you could get some momentum, but it just based sideways all the way until 130. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it goes from $26 to almost 28 bucks. Yeah, 27.91. So I got the alert, but by the time I pulled this up, it was moving pretty fast. I tried to get an order in for 28 for the breakout, for the breakout over 27. I tried to get that order in, didn't get any orders in time, and I didn't want to chase it. But then it came up to here at 28. So I had my order set for a stop limit order for 28, and I set it for 28.06. So as it broke through 28, I should, the limit that I would get filled at would be 28.06. And because I liked it for a breakout over 28 to continue onto the long side, because this was a daily breakout, right? And it was breaking over yesterday's high. So I didn't get filled on that, and it just exploded. So you can see here, it went to hit 28 there, and then it went directly to 29.33, 29.40, and all the way up to almost 30 bucks. So, those two incidents, I looked at it initially from 27 and then 28 and then out to 30. And I was actually trying to take a pretty big position on this because I liked the way it looked. I was trying to take about 800 shares. And so that would have been a big move. And I missed out on that. And that was, really frustrating, like I said, because earlier in the day, I wasn't seeing a whole lot. This opportunity presented itself, and I was not able to get any profit off of it. So that was pretty frustrating. And then the other one that came up was a recent merger. And so this one has started moving and has a little momentum recently. And So it was already moving early on in the day, and you can see this, price action. Obviously, it moved up quite a bit, but then it started basing sideways, basically doing nothing until here at 145, and there was a release, an analyst release, essentially saying that they thought this stock should be headed to $60. As soon as that happened, it just spiked up. You can see all of this volume coming in through here. And so I traded that. I scalped it in and out as it went through. I was a little bit worried because this seemed to be a little more volatile, and I didn't want to take a big loss or anything. So I was just trying to get in and get out. It actually turned out to be a really clean trader. Looking back, I wish I had just kind of stuck with it a bit more. But because of what's been happening in the market with momentum and the volatility with this, I didn't want to get caught in the drop and be down a couple of points on a few hundred shares and get myself in trouble. So uh, you know, Excel ended up being pretty good. That one will be interesting to see. It might be something that is worth watching tomorrow. But yeah, so that was definitely the three major ones that I had that worked out. PLTR was one that was more frustrating. It's got this daily breakout opportunity here, and it might be good for a swing. And I had it a buy order for 29.51, and it never got there. It just kind of based out in this range all day. I did take a starter. Where did I take a starter? Right here at 29, and it started to move up, and then all of a sudden there's a huge sell wall at 29.25, I think it was. Maybe it was here. Yeah, 29.25. So it started to base up towards the opening range and towards the high a day. You can see here 29.25 resistance, hit it again, 29.25, huge sell wall, and then just dropped right away. And I took a small loss on that. Sell wall kind of came out of nowhere. The previous highs were 29.42. So, I wasn't really expecting 29.25. And then notice the sell wall come up, and that's when people start jumping out and becomes a problem on the trade. So also another one that I traded was AI. We've talked about this one prior. Look at this range, right? From the low a day to 151 to the high a day of 183, and then back down. It closed at 160. So huge range on this. And so I, after this drop down, I was looking at shorting it initially at the open, but it moved too quick. So I was looking at a short below this 163 area because there wasn't much support in this level. And then you can see it found support down here at these support pivots, right? So it ended up finding support here and then bounced right back up around the 150 area. But by this point, I was like, you know what? It's not even worth trading. It's not a breakout opportunity. It's not a breakdown opportunity. So it's gone. And then I get an alert. I set my alert just in case if it came back up. I get an alert as it's trending towards all-time highs. Its all-time high up here is 179. So we can see it broke that. So I took a long over 179. I initially got some profit on that. And it kept pushing up, and it held. It actually tapped 179 and started to push higher again. And normally when we see a resistance level turn support, that's a real bullish signal. It's a signal that, okay, we have an area or a price point that was resistance now, and all of a sudden the stock is holding that level and pushing off of it. Well, that's pretty bullish. So I got in. So I initially had a little bit of profit on the move from 179 to 180, 150 or something like that. I took a couple of points because this one can move pretty fast, but I didn't want to get caught in the drop back below 179. So I got out, and then it retested 179, came back up. So I got long again, and then it just failed to push through. It hit some resistance, I think at 183.50, and then had a sharp drop back down. You can see that it moved down pretty fast, and this is what this stock does. There's a lot of opportunity, but there's more risk with it, and just faded all day. So that was a little bit frustrating as well because daily breakout, all-time highs. A stock that we've seen has great ability to move. A stock that from the lows pushed all the way through and broke yesterday's high, then held support yesterday's high as support, failed to follow through, and that's part of the momentum that is around this Christmas time that we've talked about. So anyway, so those are some of the tickers I looked at for today. Obviously, I'm happy about the result. I'm happy that the account's probably going to be sitting at about 8,400 tomorrow. And like I said, that means that I'm in a position that I want to be, um, and done well over this period in the challenge. So, um, not far away right now from that 10K marker, which would be great to get to. Um, and I think that would be a real milestone of achievement in terms of taking that a small account, getting there. We're already up over 200%, but we've seen it kind of fluctuate back and forth over the past week, and it's been more difficult trading. So we're kind of survive until we thrive. Survive till we thrive. That's what I talked about before. Right now, until we get to the new year. So you know, that's why I'm kind of on the fence about what I want to do tomorrow. Um, I'm leaning towards not trading, but we'll see. I do love trading. I do love the markets, and Thanksgiving I did have a pretty good day. So when we had what was expected to be reduced volume and trading and all that stuff, and there was actually some really good opportunities that came about. So my uh, self alarm clock will probably wake me up my brain anyways. Um, so I might just kind of peek in and see what's going on and go from there. But overall, good day today. So far, it's been a pretty good week because we had the opening day. So profits we're looking at around 2,100 less the loss that we had. So that's going to be about 1550 less some commissions. So I'm looking at about up 1,400 on the week right now. I would guess I'd have to look back at some of the numbers, but that's obviously great especially for the smaller account. So you know, take it day by day, as we said, week by week, and that's another day done, another day down, another green day, and tomorrow is another day. We'll see what it brings.